welcome to our Friday show, On the Mark with Inside News. Thank you very much for joining us, myself and Shaheel. Yeah, once again, hopefully we're going to help you find a couple of winners this meeting. It's a couple of tough races. Some races look a little bit easier. And I sat up quite late last night doing my homework. I'm sure Shaheel did the same. So let's kick off with race 1. It is a 1450 020 rating. As you all know, these 020s are never easy. Have a look at the last couple of meetings. A couple of outsiders winning that first leg, and Shaheel, I've made up my mind. I'm just going to, if I do play a big 8, I'm just going to load as much as I can. But I think the key lies with the young horses here, the 3-year-olds, especially the 2 that have run behind Play Another Tune. We've all seen what Play Another Tune's done. Master Silver, he got beat 4 lengths by Play Another Tune. In that same race was Never Fear. In fact, Never Fear finished just a short head in front of Master Silver. I'm going to go with Master Silver this time purely because he's got a better draw, and what I've seen at training, it just looks like this horse has come on nicely, and I'm going to make him my first choice to beat Never Fear, who was in that specific race as well. Remember, the emergency acceptors come out, so Never Fear will be drawn 8. Never easy from that draw, especially a horse that likes to lead, but having a look at this race, Shaheel, do you think he'll be able to lead? It doesn't look like there's much horses with speed.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that. Probably if he can overcome the draw, he will be in front. In fact, I'm going to make him my first choice because he's a very consistent horse, actually. He's run 4 times for 4 places. His race last time, like I said, Planet de Tume absolutely demolished the field that day, and he still managed to run only 4 lengths off him. So if you put Planet de Tume in here, obviously he'll win again by 4 or 5 lengths. Definitely going with Never Fear. I see him at track work. He's working quite well. So a strong first choice, Never Fear.
Okay, well, I'm going to go Master Silver. I think that he could turn that around purely in what I've seen. Never Fear, I mean, we can't ignore that second last run of his when he ducked badly like that, and he only got beat a length. And I think Cyber Special was in that race, and we've seen what Cyber Special is. So Never Fear's form is pretty solid. Like I said, I think the key is the young horses. The other young horse is Anzo Barrega. They backed him last time when they fitted him with blinkers, and he ran a good third to Charles My Boy. Unfortunately, he's going to be drawn 10 out of 10, which is going to make it a little bit tougher for him. I'm going to select 4 horses because it is a open race. Ashford's Legacy, liked him last time. It wasn't a bad run behind Spinner Coin. He is drawn 3. It just looks like this horse is just getting better and better with every race, so I'll make him my 4th choice. At the end of the day, pretty close between Master Silver and Never Fear. I'm going to sort of try and separate those 2. In fact, I will separate. I'm going to just lean slightly towards Master Silver and Zaberega, Ashford's Legacy. Shirley, is there anything else you want to talk about before we move on?
I'm just thinking number 6, Radlet. He's been beaten favorite last 2. He had everything in his favor last time. He just didn't kick on as expected. But he's drawn 4 again, working well, so we can't ignore him. But even if he comes with risk attached. So I'm also going to go for a quartet, Never Fear, Ashford's Legacy, like you said, Radlet, and your choice, Master Silver.
All right, great. That's the first race. Let's move over to race 2. It's a 1450 benchmark 31. And we see the return of this nice 3-year-old, once again a 3-year-old, Watch Me Dad. It was an expected easy win last time. What I liked about that win last time, he had a bad draw to overcome. He overcame it nicely. He won, even though he was still very green. He had his ears pricked at the top of the straight. He kept on going. He went away to beat Red Indy quite comfortably in the end. I think there's more to come from this horse. I think he's still learning. He's been a very immature horse. The pattern of his running, he's sort of like lost early on in the race. He made up some ground very quickly around the turn when Cedric asked him the question. Unfortunately, once again, a poor draw to deal with. But like we said, he does come from off the pace. And I think Watch Me Dad should be the obvious first choice. But I just want to talk about one horse before I move over to Shaheel. This was Mr. Greenstreet. I really like this horse. I think he's currently 12-1. He's drawn 1. He was drawn a lot worse last time, and he was totally lost in the beginning of the race. But he finished that race off nicely, went behind Varside. Fury was in that race as well, if I'm not mistaken. He finished 2 lengths behind Fury. I think he's come on a lot, this horse. He's going to be a lot closer this time as well with that one draw. So keep an eye out on Mr. Greenstreet. In fact, I'm going to make him my value bet of the day, especially at 12-1. I would imagine if Darrell Holland was riding Mr. Greenstreet, he wouldn't be at 12-1. So maybe a little bit of value there. Pravesh Horrell, he's got. I like the way he rides. He's got some nice soft hands with horses, and I'm going to make him a danger to the favourite. Shaheel, any horses you want to talk about here? I mean, obviously, Watch Me Dad is. It looks like he's the horse to beat.
Yeah, he's the horse to beat. Like you said, he won well last time, and even he had to overcome that draw. you know what I liked last time? When he broke from barrier 9, we expected him to be far back, but Cedric tried to keep him to one-off position. He was like 4th or 5th on the outside, and I hope that he does the same thing tomorrow. He's a bit more handy, and he does have a good turn of it, like you said. Even just before the home straight, he just eats up the ground. Yes, he goes up to a benchmark of 31, but he's a progressive 3-year-old, so definitely Watch Me Dad as the first choice. For my second choice, I do like the filly 2 Moon Junction. She's always been consistent. She just got pipped on the line on International Day. She's trying the blinkers for the first time. It's also her first time in a benchmark of 31. So let's see how 2 Moon Junction goes. And Netflix, that was a great run over 990, who's relatively too short last time out. It goes up to 1450, but still in the benchmark of 31. He could be able to run into the money.
Okay, so what's your trifecta and
What's
your selections there?
Watch Me Dad, 2 Moon Junction, and Netflix.
Okay, I'm going to go, I think obviously you have to lean towards Watch Me Dad, but I'm expecting a big run from Mr. Greenstreet. He's also, even in South Africa, he has run behind Watch Me Dad, if you see when they won his maiden. And then also they ran together, I think it was in the Langeman, which is a 2-year-old feature race in Cape Town. Once again, Watch Me Dad finished in front of him, but I think that Mr. Greenstreet, from what I've seen, he's progressed a lot since he's arrived here in Mauritius. I like the fact he's got the 1 draw. So Watch Me Dad, Mr. Greenstreet. Fury worked a lot better with the blinkers. I'm going to put him as my 3rd choice, and then I do agree with Shaheel, 2 Moon Junction, the filly. One of very few fillies in Mauritius. She's run behind Mind Blowing and Mr. Hardy last 2 starts. The only thing that puts me off slightly is the fact it is her first run of the season. So Watch Me Dad, Mr. Greenstreet, Fury, 2 Moon Junction. Right, the 3rd race, it is a 1600 meter benchmark 36, and my banker, I've got 2 bankers on the card. The first one is Patrol Officer. You have to say he's been pretty unlucky both his starts here in Mauritius. He was my 2 to follow when he ran first time out. I really fancied him last time. He zigzagged across the straight, and he finished that race off pretty well. I think he's going to take a lot of beating this time. Obviously, he's got the 2 races under the belt now. He's got the experience. He's drawn 2. Naresh Juggler found the winner's box. The stables found form. I think he's going to be quite a tough nut to crack. Shaheel, will you agree with me, or do you see anything else here?
No, I definitely agree with you. Like you said, he was a bit slow out to begin, and then he was rushed up early on, but he got caught just behind Sierra Redwood, if I'm not mistaken, and that was a dead horse in front of him. He couldn't move, and like you said, even the home stretch, he was zigzagging everywhere. But once the penny dropped, he just flew home. The only concern for me is that he's never run over a mile. This is going to be his first time over a mile. What do you think?
Well, the way he was running on, you'd have to think that the mile's going to suit him the way he was running on last time. And there was a 24.76 that last 400. He wasn't stopping, he was finishing. So I don't think the mile's going to be a problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Then the strong choice, Patrol Officer for the banker of the day.
Yeah, Down Under, he has always said, I've sort of, it's disappointed me a lot. Look, he's a 7-year-old now, but he also has been running against a lot stronger. And as high as 51, we're down to a 36. He's run behind horses, Bad Attitude, Perplexing, Yankee Doodle Dandy. That's obviously a lot stronger than what Patrol Officer has done. But he's probably not the most reliable sort, but this is by far the weakest field he's taken on in many, many runs. So keep an eye on Down Under for your exotics or your swingers or whatever you want to play. And then Euroclodian, he could possibly lead. There is 7 carat as well, but he just seems to be getting better and better, Euroclodian. I remember last year as well, sort of battled in the beginning of the season. Once he found a bit of form, he's also he sort of does a little bit better after a couple of runs. He's drawn 1 as well, so he'll be my 3rd choice. But Patrol Officer, I'm going to make him hard to beat. I'm going to take a chance, bank him in all my exotics.
So will I. I'm Patrol Officer for the banker. Like you said, Down Under, ignore that last run. He returned lame that day. Like you said, his form before that is pretty impressive behind the likes of Bad Attitude and Perplexing. And for further, I do like Bypass. That was a promising last run. He does have a place chance.
Okay. All right, let's move over to race 4. It's a 990, benchmark 41. And never easy to select first-timers, but you have to say on this horse's work and his South African form, Bye Bye Rocket, really looks like a nice horse in the making. I went back and had a look at when he won that maiden sprint, or I think it was...
The Monaco maiden.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. It's a R1 million maiden.
Yeah.
And, I suppose, you can't look at the stake money. At the end of the day, it was still a maiden plate.
Yeah.
But he beat that horse against the grain that's done pretty well in feature races. He came out and won after that. And then he's been placed in feature races. So Bye Bye Rocket, he's put on some good performances as far as his barrier trial and his work is concerned, and if he doesn't need this first run, I would. Luckily for him, he hasn't bumped the strongest of fields, in my opinion, and he looks like quite a nice little horse, Shaheel.
In fact, he's one of my favorite horses this year. It's not only against the grain. There has been a lot of winners that has come out of this Monaco Maiden Million. Even that day he was slow to begin, but once he got going and the penny dropped, he just flew home on the Mark can to win this race. He looks a bit green at track work, but he has a lot of work, and Manuel Nunes has taken a lot of time with him. I won't be surprised to see him strike on debut.
Yeah. If ever he is going to win a race on that, it would be a race like this, because it's not the strongest of 41 990s. He's attracted a little bit of betting support. He's number 3, Mr. Crumford, and he's had the 2 runs in Mauritius, but as he's running 46 and then right as strong as 56. So he has run against a lot stronger. You just have to look at this horse's South African form. He's run behind that horse, Twist of Fate. If he brings that sort of form to this race, he must have a chance as well, Mr. Crumford. And like I said, there has been a bit of betting support already for number 3, Mr. Crumford. And then obviously great value. He lodged an objection against Rabe last time. It was turned down. It was 2 good runs in a row now. I was surprised he ran so well in the 990. If I'm not mistaken, he was caught wide that day. And that was a good effort from him. Unfortunately, Dollar Tractor's drawn 8 out of 8. I mean, his debut was very, very good. I think last time the 1400 too far for him. End of the day, I'm thinking that Bye Bye Rocket could on debut, but there's no ways we can bank him because he's a first timer and we never know how he's going to go. So I'm going to put in Mr. Crumford, great value. I'm pick 8 tomorrow. I'm going to put Dollar Tractor in as well because that debut was a very good debut.
In fact, I do reckon the Dollar Tractor is the biggest danger to number 1 Bye Bye Rocket. Like you said, that was a very impressive debut, and it was a nice comeback run over 1400 last time out. That was listen, he's a pure sprinter even on his South African form. If he can overcome the barrier 8, I do believe Dollar Tractor will give Bye Bye Rocket a big run for his money.
Yeah, he's got some good sprint form in South Africa. Well, in Cape Town, though. There's also Dutch Phillip, yeah. So he's got good sprint form, and well, he was back first time. He started favourite, yeah. And he only fell to that decent sprinter Maximus. So yeah, probably could be the biggest, one of the bigger threats. But in the day, I'm going to put those 4 horses in my exotics. It gets a little bit easier later on, but I think the 4th race we're going to put a couple of horses in. Right, let's move over to race 5, a 1500 meter benchmark 51. A couple of unknown factors here. A couple of horses that did very well in South Africa, but over a little bit more ground. So sometimes their class brings them through, but I don't think we can ignore the first timers here. Let's start off with the 2 obvious horses. Number 1, Bad Attitude, drawn 1. Manuel Nunes knows this horse so well. He's ridden him 4 times for 3 wins and a good second to Ice Run. Not second to Yankee Doodle Dandy, I beg your pardon. So he knows the horse pretty well. He's done very well, this horse. Bad Attitude. I just can't. I'm not going to swallow the pill of the price, 8 to 10. I think there's a lot more value in number 2, Crazy Vision. In fact, there is an indirect form line. I think they've both beaten Yankee Doodle Dandy. And obviously, Crazy Vision is that half a kilo better off, but he's at 400. And betting man, I would rather have a little go on the price of Crazy Vision because he ran a good second to Cool at Heart. We've seen what Cool at Heart's done. Okay, he got beat 3 lanes, but still, that was an excellent run. So I think there's a little bit of value in Crazy Vision. Yeah, I'm not writing Bad Attitude off at all. But I just can't have a bet at that price.
I definitely agree with you. Crazy Vision is going to be my first choice too. Like you said last time against Kulan, that wasn't a benchmark of 66. He now goes down to a 51, and even he was coughing after that race. So he probably had some soundness issue after that race. He's definitely back to best because I've seen his gallop against with Rap Attack on Tuesday morning. That was a very nice gallop. Definitely we'll take a chance and take on the favorite here.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the coughing. I think he has had a problem with bleeding, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, if you go right back to last year as well, he was coughing. Coughing after the race is a sign of
he bled when he beat Tower of Wisdom.
Yeah, so that's the only thing about Crazy Vision. He is a bleeder, but I would imagine they treat him for it. So let's hope everything goes well. If he doesn't bleed, I think he must have a big chance. Right, we did talk about the newcomer, Sinatla. Well, he's run second to Twist of Fate. Yeah, and Twist of Fate, one of the fancied horses for the July handicap in a couple of weeks. Yeah. So yeah, he's a 3-year-old. Obviously, he looks like he'd prefer a little bit more ground. We have been following him in training. could just need this run, but nice to see a horse like this in Mauritius. And then obviously Subtropical as well. His work has been pretty good. I liked his barrier trial. I like the fact that they put blinkers on him, because I saw him blinkers in South Africa. He did pretty well with the blinkers. So Subtropical, I think he's just a little bit more advanced than Sonata at this stage, even though I think Sonata is a better horse. I just think that Subtropical is probably a little bit fitter than him. So, end of the day, I'm going to take a little bit of a chance. Value-wise, I'm going to go Crazy Vision, Bad Attitude, Subtropical.
I'm going to go Crazy Vision, Bad Attitude, and Sonata.
Okay, great. Right, let's move over to the feature race. It is the Elitist Cup. It's a 1500 meter rating, 55 plus. I believe that the key to this race is the top three in the weights. Yankee Captain, Ernie, Black Cat back. I'm going to go with Yankee Captain. He's a top horse. Robbie Frad said it many times last year. I think that he's just needed those first two runs. In fact, that last time was half a length behind Nottinghamshire. In fact, 1, 2, and 3 all ran behind Nottinghamshire last time, and he finished. When he got beat a half a length, he's drawn 2. I like this horse, Yankee Captain. I'll tell you why I prefer him to 2 and 3. I just think Black Cat back, obviously, excellent gallop on Tuesday. I must be honest, Shaheel, I'm not a big fan of a horse galloping on Tuesday and running on Saturday, but it was sort of a hard-held gallop. I don't think he would have done a lot more if he worked on the sand track. So the only thing about Black Cat back, 5 wins in South Africa, all over 1400. This is a 15. The false rail's out at 4.5 meters. It's going to sort of just stretch that 1500 meters a little bit further. Shaheel Ayadassen, unfortunately, Oliver Placé got injured in the week. Listen, Shaheel Ayadassen's a great rider in his own right, but I think it's all going to boil down to tactics. I would imagine he's going to probably try and lead with this horse, and depends on how quick he goes. If he gets to the front sort of unchallenged, he won't go hard. And that's not going to suit Ernie, because Ernie likes a nice pace. And the distance, 1500, stretching him out a little bit, Ernie. Yeah, I think he's furthest that he's ever won is a 1450, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1450. I think they're stretching him a little bit as far as, but as horses get older, they sort of do stay a little bit better. So this is why I'm leaning towards Yankee Captain. I think he's drawn 2. He's distance suited. I believe that he's going to be the horse to beat Black Cat back and Ernie to fight out for that second and third spot.
I'm going to go with Black Cat back, actually. That gallop on Tuesday morning was so impressive for me. Olivier Placé just gave him a clap around the shoulders after the winning post to show how happy he is with this horse. Like you said, he probably will lead, because I don't see any of the front runner on the card. He does quite pull a bit. Even in his gallop, he was a bit keen. So it will be interesting to see how Shaheel Ayadassen gets along with him. But I'm definitely going with Black Cat back. For second, I'll go with Kazar, actually. That was a good run against White River last time, only 3 lengths of him. He's got some great South African form against the like of Duet Again, Dark Moon Rising, even Nadini. And for third, definitely Yankee Captain.
Okay, all right, that's the 6th race. That's the feature race of the day. I don't think we have to put a lot in our pick 8 there. It's not a big field. Right, as I said, I had 2 bankers on the day. This is going to be my second banker, number 2, Captain Gone Wild. That first one really impressed me. It's been a long time since I've seen a horse run 1500 meters with his ears pricked and still run second. He's going to be a lot better this time. He's drawn 1. I wouldn't be surprised if Pierce bounces him and goes off to the front. He showed a lot of speed early on in that first run of his where Manuel Nunes rode him. I think he's going to be too good for them, Captain Gone Wild. I liked his work in the week. I think he's sort of made a lot of progress, and even if Pierre is a great judge of pace, if he gets his horse to the front, even with his ears pricked, he'll time it to perfection. He'll give him a couple across his backside at the top of the straight, and I think he's going to be quite a tough nut to crack in the 7th race. All aboard. He's only had 2 runs in his career. They're both in Mauritius. Much better run last time. Obviously improved a lot from his first start. He was just behind Captain Gone Wild. I can't see him turning the tables on Captain Gone Wild, even though he was drawn 10 last time. I just think Captain Gone Wild's made a lot of improvement. And then Paddington's Luck, he's probably the 3rd best. I don't particularly like him. I don't like the fact that he's dropped from the 1850 down to the 1600. He was running on in the 1850. So I just think this is going to be a little bit on the sharp side for Paddington's Luck. But it looks like he could be the 3rd best horse in this particular race. But at the end of the day, I'm going to bank Captain Gone Wild in the 7th race.
I agree with you again. Captain Gone Wild, great run first up last time, despite being green. He's drawn one. Like I said, he shows a lot of speed. If he isn't too keen up front, he'll definitely stay the mile. It is going to be his first time over the mile, but he's a captain out, so he should stay. For second, I'll definitely go with Beddington's Luck. He was one of my two to follow last time. I also don't like the fact that they're dropping him back over a mile, because his best run in South Africa has been over 1900 meters, so probably the mile could be a bit on the sharp side for him. And for third, I do like gold medalist. That was an eye-catching run last time. He definitely is more competitive in a benchmark of 0.26, so keep an eye on him. But definitely we'll go with the younger guns.
Yeah, Captain Gone Wild, yeah. I like this horse. I really, it's been a long time since a horse has impressed me, and I do like him. I think he's going to take a power beating. Unfortunately, he's 9 to 10 favourite, so we could probably use him as a banker in some of the exotics. Right, let's move over to race 8. It's the lucky last, the 1500 meter 0.25. Once again, 0.20, 0.25 is never easy to find winners. Once again, it looks like the younger horses might hold the key here. There's a couple of, well, there's two horses running early on the day, Watch Me Dad and Superstitious. Now, Watch Me Dad beat Red Indy last time. Superstitious beat Romanus last time. I think these two horses hold the key. So have a look at those two horses running in the second race. Maybe that'll help your selection in the last race. I'm going to lean towards Red Indy. You know, it's just a horse. I think if you watch the winter show, it's a horse that I've been sort of keeping an eye on. I've been following him. Unfortunately, I liked him last time at 14 to 1. He just found one better in the form of Watch Me Dad. Obviously, Watch Me Dad, in my opinion, is a much better horse than Red Indy. I just thought there was quite a lot of value in that 14 to 1 last time. And once again, Pierre Stradom dropped his stick. I don't know if he knew that I had some money on the horse, but he dropped this. He dropped the stick and probably don't think he was going to beat the winner. Could have maybe finished a half a length closer. So Red Indy, even though he's drawn 8, he comes from off the pace. Pierre Stradom, we all saw what he did on Man from Seattle from off the pace. A lot of people say, oh, Pierre Stradom can only ride in front. He's a great judge of pace. He can come from anywhere in a race, and I do believe that Red Indy has got a big chance in the last. Romanus, my second choice. Like I said, good second to Superstitious. He's drawn 1. He ran a good race in the benchmark 31 to Varside as well. But it looks like a 2-horse race, but I'm going to lean towards Red Indy. Shaheel, I don't know if you agree with me on that, or if you're going for Romanus.
No, I'm going to go with Red Indy, actually. I've been impressed by the way that you've been talking about him for like 2 or 3 weeks now. He's been catching a ride at training too. Definitely going with him. He's going to have to overcome the barrier 8 again. I don't know what Striker's going to do. Is he's going to follow more handy, or is he going to give him a chance and drop him at the back and rear of the field? Romanus, the thing that I don't like about him, he was disappointing last time. He had everything in his favor. He was drawn 1. He was in the box. He just didn't kick as we expected. He's again drawn in 1. He's going to be in the box once again. He's working well. So should we give him another chance? Let's see what happens. And obviously Mambo, he's a quite consistent horse, but he can never get his head in front at the right time. So a place chance once again.
Yeah, I've given up on Mambo, to be honest with you. Probably when I do give up, or normally when I give up on a horse, they come out and win. But I like Sir Capers on that one run to play another tune. He's probably come the closest to play another tune than any horse here in Mauritius. So Sir Capers, remember that day the false rail was out 4.5 meters. It's out 4.5 meters again. So Sir Capers, I'm going to put him as my third spot. But Red Indy, Romanus, Sir Capers, that's my trifecta for the last race. It is a lucky last. If you have one that trifecta. Shaheel, what's your final selection of the afternoon?
Red Indy, Romanus and Mambo.
All right. Before we close off, we like to always try and give you our bankers and our value bets. My bank, I'm going to go 2 bankers, Patrol Officer and obviously Captain Gone Wild. That's my 2 bankers. And then my value bet is Mr. Horil on Mr. Green Street. I think he's 12 to 1. I definitely think he's worth a little each way bet. Drawn 1. I'm expecting a big improvement from Mr. Green Street. All right, Shaheel?
My banker would be Patrol Officer, obviously, and for the value bet, not a real value bet, so I'll probably give 2, Crazy Vision and Black Cat Back. I really like both these horses. Crazy Vision at around 400 and Black Cat Back 350, so let's see how they go.
Okay, all right, perfect. That's Shaheel. He's given us his banker and value bets. Let's see how we go. Remember, next week it's Barbie Fever, so we obviously going to be looking at how the Barbie Cup contenders will be working next week. We will obviously talk about this meeting. We'll look at the gallops for the Barbie. There's a double header next week. We've got a lot of work to do. 2 race cards to get through next week as well. And don't forget, this evening If this comes out before 5 o'clock, myself, Shaheel and Raksha, we're on Waza Radio. We go through, the three of us give our selections. We have a little bit of fun, a little bit of laugh, but we are serious about our selections. So maybe you want to catch up with us on Waza later on this evening between 5 and 6. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next week. Goodbye.